Hi, Paul Slackett's Good News Planet speaking to Carla Neggers. Hi, Carla. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
All right, good. Exciting time. Heron's Cove, new book. You're a bestseller on the New York Times, USA Today, and you're an international intrigue book here called Heron's Cove, and it's based up in Maine, and I think a place you like and your readers like. And tell us a little bit about the book, and congratulations.
Oh, well, thank you. Well, Heron's Cove is out now in hardcover, and it's a Sharp and Donovan novel, I call it. And we have Emma Sharp, who's an art crimes expert with the FBI, and Colin Donovan, who is a deep cover agent with the FBI. And in Heron's Cove, she's her art crimes world and his undercover mission kind of collide, and we bring in her family of renowned art detectives. They're based in Maine, where she grew up. It's a little town called Heron's Cove, fictional, made it up, but, it might remind, if anybody's been to Maine, it might remind them of Kennebunkport, York. It's set in that area.
Mm-hmm.
And, so there's this woman, Tatiana Pavlova, this mysterious, kind of quirky jewelry designer, shows up and warns Emma that this collection of, this very prized collection of 19th century Art Nouveau Russian jewelry that's been missing, has turned up, and it's going to be stolen again. And that collides with Colin, who's just come back to Maine, to his little struggling fishing village where he's from, and has just survived an attack by international arms traffickers. And how we put arms traffickers with the missing Russian collection of jewelry together is the fun of Heron's Cove. And it creates problems between Emma and Colin, and trust, and there's danger, and I don't know, it was just such fun to write.
I don't know if it's a trade secret or whatever, but how do you write a book? I want to ask a simple question.
I don't know. Let me know. I'm always trying to find an easier way. I love to write. It's one of those things, when you really love to do something, even the hard parts you enjoy on a certain perverse level. So Heron's Cove is one of those books that came together to me in pieces, so that I had different elements of it, and I knew, I could feel intuitively that they all went together, everything would be fine, but it was a real process to put the different pieces together. Mm-hmm. And sometimes it doesn't work like that. So I saw Tatiana Pavlova coming to Heron's Cove and warning about the Russian collection missing. And I knew, and the story starts out, by the way, with Emma and Colin's brothers. He has these three brothers, cops and lobstermen, and this kind of enigmatic Irish priest who's a whiskey expert. And they're gathered together on the coast in this little rundown place doing a whiskey tasting, and they're worried about Colin. So I had that piece, and then you just kind of keep asking, okay, now how does this all fit together? And then I just write. I just sit down and I write, and a lot of times, things work themselves out because I'm writing rather than thinking. So it's that taking action versus just sitting around thinking. Mm-hmm. I don't know if that makes sense, but it does to me. And maybe like that with what you do, like sometimes it's like, I don't know what I'm going to ask, but,
Well, there are people that say, different ways, like going to a meeting really without anything, premeditated, and see what happens, and then jump on the situation or let it take its due course.
And I think for me, it's like the creative juices get flowing when the characters are acting in the story and they're doing things, and I'll figure things out as I'm writing. And I also figure out things ahead of time, but I know, especially when I get stuck, if I just sit there and just say, just let me write. I may have to throw it away, but it will lead to better things than if I just sit here and stare out the window.
Aha. Did you play Clue, the game Clue, when you were young?
Yes.
Do you think that
frequently
Clue had any bearing on the kinds of writing that you do?
Oh, no, that's a very good question. I love the puzzle and the whodunit and trying to and how things fit together. So I do enjoy all of that, which Clue certainly provides. That's a fun game. That's a good one for summer. I haven't played it in a while.
Okay. Well, it's just a lot of times. Do you attribute anything in your young days to becoming a professional writer?
Well, I grew up out in the country in rural Massachusetts with 6 brothers and sisters, and so I would, and there was always chores to do. We would, grab a shovel and dig in the garden, and I don't know. And so I would grab a pad and pen and climb a tree and sit up in the tree and write. And it was a great way to kind of be on my own and think up stories and let my imagination roam. So just having a lot of free time as a kid. I mean, we did. I don't know how to explain. It's not like we were always doing stuff, but we weren't to have a structured schedule. I mean, I didn't have tennis lessons, or we didn't have like dance lessons, tennis lessons, and all of that stuff. We were just out in the country, and so it was something to do. Climb a tree and make up stories.
There you go. Well, kids, I think that's a very interesting point you're saying, because it seems like kids nowadays don't have a time to breathe. They're just going from lesson to lesson. and there's a lot. Yeah, there's a lot of talk about that, and how and the pressures that I certainly have in my own family. The pressures for them to start doing things so young, and there's a balance. I think there's a balance with everything. I think I might have enjoyed tennis lessons. Okay. I
don't know if I have been any good at it, but
how about a young writer? Is writing like you have to wait on tables until you finally get something written and the world buys it?
Well,
how do you survive as a writer?
I've been very, very fortunate that I started writing right out of college, and I've been published ever since. So, readers have been terrific, just really terrific. So that helps a lot. But at the same time, I think even if you're writing full time, you have to keep the creative well filled. And I'm always very curious about lots and lots of different things. So that helps, because I'm always learning new things, like art for Heron's Cove. I learned a lot about art crimes and Russian jewelry, so that's really cool. But for writers now, starting out, just like when I was starting out, it's pretty much you got to have a day job, because initially there's no financial security, and you just don't. I mean, I don't have a crystal ball. My crystal ball broke a long time ago. So you just do the best you can, and if you're making a living at it, you're making a living at it. And if you're not, you're not. So you just just like, I guess it's just like anything else, that you love to do, and you just stay at it. But and now with ebooks and self-publishing and all that, it's a different model for building a career than when I started out. So I'm probably not a good one to talk to. But it's always nice to have a paycheck.
It's a helpful item, no doubt about it.
Sure.
By far. Well, a lot of good stuff. So congratulations. You have a website as well?
I do. It's Carla Neggers. Yeah, carlaneggers.com, and there you can find out where to order the book if you don't have a bookstore down the road. And there's a place to order signed books, win T-shirts, and all kinds of information. So I try to keep it pretty up to date and have a good time. Yeah, and I'm on Facebook and Twitter and Pinterest.
Excellent.
Doing all that.
A lot of good stuff. Well, that's great. So congratulations, and August is almost here, a day or two away, and the book is really a quick read, a fast read, and congratulations, and an interesting and exciting. So thank you very much. Let me ask you one last question. What's good news for you?
What is good news for me? Good news for me is friends and family, always.